Hey everybody, Dr. Diane, your libido doc here, talking about what to do when you're stressed and your libido falls. So one of the things to understand is we can get in this very vicious cycle where when we have a healthy libido and we're engaged intimately, we're releasing all of these hormones, and those hormones actually help to regulate stress. They help to lower stress, they help to improve happiness, they help to lower anxiety, help to improve sleep. So when we have a lot of stress and then we're not intimately engaged, then one thing that can happen is we can actually get more stressed. So there's lots that can be done. We definitely want to do adrenal testing and look for things like cortisol and DHEA. It's also good to understand that cortisol, the stress hormone, can lower testosterone. Testosterone in both women and men really support that healthy libido. So it's very important to get lab testing done. So you want to definitely remember that. In addition to that, you should absolutely consider that it's super important and valuable to sometimes, if you're in a healthy relationship and you're like, gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so stressed, to just go for it anyways. And here's why. So what we see is that the female cycle of arousal is so different than the male cycle of arousal. The female cycle of arousal is non-linear. And what we actually see, it's so interesting, where men, they get aroused and then excited. For many women, and due with stress, oftentimes what happens is we actually start having sex and then we get aroused. The arousal comes after. And I talk to so many women who will go through this thing around like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to have sex, yada, yada. And then in the middle of the act, then it's like, this actually is kind of enjoyable. And then at the end, there's this sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did this. Why don't I do this? Why don't we do this more? Right? And that's because the arousal cycle for females, especially with stress, can be so different than men. So those are a few initial tips. Get your adrenals looked at, get cortisol, DHEA looked at, and then remember the cycle of arousal with libido and stress is very, very different for women as compared to men. So we have so much on this channel, so I hope you will subscribe to learn a lot more. We'll see you soon.